Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Well, RR Kabil is on our radar. Their 1964 crore IPO opens today. So the IPO size is just a little under 2,000 crores. Out of this, 180 crores is a fresh issue, while about 1780 crores is via an offer for sale. Do note that the company has a very strong business. They've seen over 30% compounded growth in their revenues over the last 3 years. They have 7% market share in the cables and wires industry overall. And about 40% of their domestic business comes from two regions, which is Gujarat and Maharashtra. We have Sri Gopal Kabra, who's the promoter and managing director at RR Kabil, and Rajesh Jain, who's the chief financial officer at RR Kabil, joining us now. Gentlemen, thank you to both of you for joining us here. Mr. Rajesh, I want to start with you because, just before we started the interview, you were telling us about how you have a large presence, domestic business in the West region, both Maharashtra as well as in Gujarat, and you have overall 7% market share as well. Yeah. What is the kind of growth that you are looking at, say, over the next 2 to 3 years, both in terms of market share as well as in terms of a top line?
So when we see we are in wire and cable industry, which is fastest growing industry. Like if you see, India is growing in residential sector, infrastructure, we are doing very well. Economy is like moving from fossil fuel to green energy, from traditional vehicle to e-vehicle. So this industry is expected to grow at very high range. And if we see, like historically, we have grown more than 30% CAGR in last 3 years. So this is very promising sector, and we are doing good.
So 30% is something that you can replicate in the next 3-4 years as well, you think?
So like this will not be right to give any future statement, but yeah, we are doing very good if you see.
Mr. Kabra, talk to us a little bit about the business itself. I mean, you're a promoter, you've seen this business grow over the decades. What is, and you are, in the top 5 players in this segment, the cable and wires business. What kind of growth do you see, and what is the potential here as you see it? You also have a FMEG business. I mean, you have fans and you have lighting, etc. And there I was looking at numbers comparing to other players in the segment. I mean, the polycabs and the others, etc. The FMEG business is relatively, as a percentage of your own business, slightly larger. So give us an outlook there as well.
See, basically, if you look into the growth perspective, I see a very bright future for this sector altogether. So total things are shifting. The future, whatever new thing is happening is electrical. Whether you go for EV charging, like a lot of investment coming to data center. Then logistics. See, after GST and demonetization, the logistics is a big investment. If you see the last year record that India sold more commercial space than US. So everything we are breaking the records. So demand is plus. The main thing is the aspiration level of Indian today is different. See, like when, suppose you will take my age, so we used to buy flat at the age of 50, 55. Today, average buying of flats is at the age of 37. So this will go up to 34%. And if you look at the way urbanization is happening, people are shifting from villages to city. Yeah. So their growth is there. Plus, if you look at today's paper, the highest demand is today for 2 BHK. It used to be 1 BHK, it was difficult for people to buy. Okay. But after COVID, the things are changed totally, and I see a very bright future for entire sector. Yes. In terms of our companies, what we achieved in
what percentage of the revenues are from the real estate segment?
So real estate wise, maybe 15-20%. Okay. But see, I tell you, real estate also, the 40% only goes to real estate, 60% goes for renovation. These are data we have. Right. So I was in Holland last 2-3 months before. So in Europe, it's almost 33% goes for real estate and 67% goes for renovation. So it's that we feel that real estate is doing well, the sector will do well. So it's other way also. Even if real estate will little go slow, even then the demand will be there in the market. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Mr. Kabra and Mr. Jain. And good timing is what you have picked because the sector is in focus and the stock market as well is vibrant. But let's get a couple of numbers out of you. What is your peak revenue potential? Last year you did around 5,500 crores. Now you're going to be raising some money as well. So how does your balance sheet look like post raising this money and the peak revenue potential? 2 numbers.
Yeah. So if we see, like we are raising 180 crores in the company, and out of that 136 crores will be used to repay our debts, and balance will be for general corporate purpose. Okay. From growth point of view, if we see historically, we have grown at more than 30% CAGR, and this industry is promising. So we are expected to do well in the future.
No, so I just wanted to understand this. You did 5,500 crores. Yeah. Industry growth will be there. You will also have growth, which you would not want to comment on since you are in a bit of a silent period. But what is the peak potential with the current investment, current gross block? Can you do 7,000 crores? Can you do 8,000 crores, 9,000 crores? What is the number?
Yes, so we have capex plan for the coming 2 years where we have investment of almost 500 crores, majorly to expand our cable capacity and wire capacity.
Yes.
And even with the current capacity, we can grow by another 30% with the capacity utilization, doing better, and with the existing expansion what we.
So you can do around 7,000 crores approximately with the current capacity that
Yeah.
you have. And
Yes.
on that 500 crores, what is the asset turn?
So it is like almost 5 times in
So
on new investment.
So another 2,500 crores. So
Potential.
peak revenue potentials around 9,500 to 10,000 crores, keeping in mind the current capacity
And
plus the
future
expansion.
Sure.
Got it.
Okay, so on that 9,000 crores, 10,000 crores, if you're saying you're putting fresh capex on board, do you have any kind of market share guidance? Currently, I think 7% is your overall market share. Can you get to double digits, say, by the end of FY24, FY25? Any targets that you're looking at?
So this industry is growing at 13 to 14% CAGR, industry as well. And if anyone grows above that average, then of course market share can be. Interestingly, like we started from zero to 23 years back, and already we have reached to 5% overall market share. So we are doing very well.
So, but do you think this double-digit market share is something that you can attain, say, by the end of FY24? I mean, do you have any internal guidance?
It is not possible to comment on the market share or about our growth future.
And what about in the export market? What you were telling us that about 20% of your business, 25% of your business comes from there. What kind of growth have you seen up until now, and what's the expectation?
See, growth will be similar what we do in domestic and exports. It can be 1 or 2% more, sometimes in exports, sometimes in domestic. It depends on the market. But best part is RR Kabel is that we have done exports in our own brand. So we are 92% exports. RR Kabel is there also is B2C. So we created brand not only just in India, but we created a brand globally. So today our brand is very respectable, and our exports is all to development where the rules and regulations are very strict. So we are the only company which got 35 international approval for single factory. So that's also, and we are 100% REACH compliance, ROH compliance. So we are very much focused in terms of quality, because we believe this wire and cable is product for the safety.
Right.
So safety.
I just wanted to ask you one more point on this market share before we move on. We track the listed companies, that's Polycab and KEI, and we know they have very ambitious plans, and they're very aggressive as well, in terms of grabbing market share. Do you think your market share will be at risk, or do you think you'll have similar aggression? You'll have done very well, as you said, 20 years, you'll have moved to that 5-7% market share. Is it at risk?
No. It's since sector is growing, we are doing very well. So
You'll be able to hold on to the market share.
Sure.
Mr. Jain, what about margins? Could you provide us with some trajectory? I think EBITDA margins are at about just under 6%.
Yeah.
What's over the next 2-3 years? How is this? Where should we see margins at?
So again, if we see, like we have done very well, and we have done done a high expenditure on expanding our base of electrician retailer. See, we have more than almost 298,000 registered electricians, which is the largest network. We have more than 102,000. More than 1 lakh retailers. So in that way, we have spent very highly in last 2 years, and we have made very good base for our future. If you see, we have 11 winning states where our market share is more than 9%. So in that way, we are expanding, and we are.
Will the margin profile improve? Do you think?
So again, in margin, in FMEG last year we did one acquisition, so there was a bit pressure in my margins. But yeah,
So FMEG, I just want to understand, it's still a small portion, but when will that segment break even, you think?
See, generally FMEG for a company like us, the moment we cross 1,100 crore, 1,200 crores, it will be in positive.
Okay, and by when do you think that would happen? Any kind of timeline that you're looking at?
So there we are planning, I think so, maybe next year.
By next year.
Fans, there are intense competition, right? I mean, I think the one segment which is seeing immense amount of competition is fans. That's what we heard from others.
Yeah. See, fan, we have immense competition, but we also need to understand there is tremendous future in fan. There are a lot of opportunities there because of the way the BLDC fan. See,
Everybody is selling.
It's not because of the mature market now. See, we need to understand how many people knows that whatever power consumption we do in India, 7% goes into fan. And if we save, say, 2/3 power, so India will save 3 to 4% power as a whole. So it's going to be an achievement. And it's a payback period of BLDC fan is almost in 1 year. So now, initially, the wealthy people will go, then gradually go. So if you look into this fan replacement market comes, like see, LED, it's happened into LED. From CFL to LED, it was very fast change, like from landline to mobile. So I believe that from this regular fan to BLDC fan, journey will be different if everything goes well. So still technology need to be still evolve, it has to be more competitive, the price consciousness is there. things
Got it.
will change.
Mr. Jain, just to go back to that margin, I didn't get it. So you said that because of an acquisition, margins dipped. What is the steady state margin? Because I'm looking at previous years, you were at 8.5%.
Yeah.
Is that what you will go back to?
So if you see like advertising and sales promotion, my spend is almost double of the industry average. FMEG is the like new growing business, so it is one time of course. So overall we are doing good in terms of first we see we have very stable growth. Growth is there, quality is there, and the sector is also promising. So in that
I'm not
way,
asking you for a number for FY24 or 25, but do you think you will, in terms of a margin band, you
Yeah,
will be
it should be
8%?
stable, yeah.
You should go up to back above 8%. Is that a steady state kind of margin?
we can expect so. Yeah.
Just one more question on the exports, since it's 25% of your mix. Is there a margin difference between exports and domestic? If yes, what is the difference?
So what happens in export? We are exporting to developed country where and we are doing in our brand. So initial our journey is very tough to stable and compete against international players. But once we have established our brand, once we have done so, but as of now there are margin difference in export in compared to domestic, almost a difference of 3 to 4%.
3 to 4%. Okay.
Yeah.
Just one last question from my end. Post this IPO, you will be debt free, is it?
Not debt free, but debt will be reduced. Like as of now, we have 500 crores of debts, which will be reduced by another 136.
130.
But most of my debts are working capital facility, which keep changing based on the growth of the business.
Okay, so the debt will go down by 136 crores.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Jain, Mr. Kabra, thank you very much, both of you, for coming to the studios. Good luck with the IPO, and
Thank you.
we hope to speak with you again once the listing is done, and maybe you can give us specific numbers and targets, etc. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Uh,